Welcome to Seeing Scarlet. It is Shelby here with Tyler, and we are double champs in women's tennis. They won the regular season title. We talked about it last week. They just won the Big 12 tournament season title as well. We'll talk about that. Softball won a massive series, y'all. A massive series over in Tucson, Arizona in dramatic fashion. Lost game one and came back and won the next two. Clutch. And if you don't already have tickets bought, people, buy tickets for this weekend. They have two midweek games as well, but buy tickets for this weekend because they could clinch the Big 12. I think Tyler's probably going to talk about that in his pitch for his marketing pitch in a minute, but you could watch them become Big 12 champs for the first time in school history if you get out to the Rock this weekend. So do that. Baseball's still struggling a little bit. We'll talk about what happened, but they did salvage the series by getting a win at the end of it. Basketball is very busy on both sides. Women's basketball added a lot of SEC flavor to their team, both on the the player and the staff side. And men's basketball added some recruits as well, both high school and transfer portal. We're going to talk all about that. But first, if you're not, follow down below, subscribe, hit comment, like, share with your friends, all the things. Appreciate it. Tyler, what's crack-lacking?
Oh, I think that this past weekend, I would have to say, has to be like one of those top five series wins in program history. So hype to come back down. We lost that first game in a heartbreaking fashion, and then we just completely just told Arizona, "Oh, yeah, we own you actually. So we're just gonna power through, push through. We're gonna be resilient." And oh, I'm just so hyped because that puts us in a really, really prime position now to go and win that Big 12 title, host a regional. Like we set ourselves up for success there. And it started out, so sad on Thursday, and then it just ended up
Yeah.
so much better come Saturday night.
It did. So let's just talk about the Thursday game since you brought it up. Let's just start there and go in order with softball, and we can get into the rest of what's going on. But yeah, so game one again, they started the series on Thursday because Easter weekend. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week, and they lost a heartbreaker on Thursday. There were some big moments. We have a highlight from Maya Davis. We'll show you in a minute. That's probably the highlight of the game. But man, we drop it 2-1, and both teams scored all of their runs in that first inning. We got two in the first inning. You're feeling real good with two runs with Nyjah. Or we got one, sorry. Right? And feeling real good with a run on the board with Nyjah coming up, and then Arizona comes up the next inning and gets a two-run bomb, gets up in the wind, and Nets got it done. So credit her, great player, potential Big 12 Player of the Year if Nyjah can't steal it from her there, but she was probably in the lead for the Big 12 Player of the Year race going into that series, and you saw why. But yeah, kind of a heartbreaker. Played well, but I thought a little tense at times maybe. Just seemed like we couldn't get the runners around. Weren't as loose as we have been at other times this year. And Nets was also on the mound. Arizona was smart after they got the lead. They brought in their ace, who they were either saving for that situation or saving for the next game. I don't know, but she didn't start. And she came in there and kind of settled us down because we were hitting the first girl pretty good. But yeah, I just remember us being a little bit tense, and it was felt like, okay, we're going to break through here, and then we just couldn't quite get the big hit like we've been doing for much of the season here, at least the back half of the season.
Yeah, I think it was mainly frustrating on the offensive end just because it's like, Nyjah, like she only gave up a home run, so it wasn't anything really on the defense
Yeah.
necessarily to have to like, have to make plays. So that's on the offense to go and step up, and you need to make sure that you're able to break down those walls. And we were getting really close. Like I even think that we may have almost had bases loaded at some points, and then it would just be like something silly like a strikeout, or we had a lot of flyouts in this game. Like I think a record number, and it also seemed like the wind was pushing all of our home runs in, so they were able to catch it. It was just a
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah, we didn't get any help from the wind gods in that game, but yeah, I thought we were swinging at pitches that were a little bit out of the zone.
Hmm.
Easy for me to say from my couch. I'm assuming again, Devin Nets is a really good pitcher. She's one of the best in the conference, so I assume the way her ball moves or something, we just couldn't quite pick it up like we do, and like they did in Game 3 against her. We came back and hit her pretty good towards the end of that game, so we had it working a little bit better. But yeah, in game one against her, it felt like we were chasing pitches, in my opinion. I kept saying, like, make her throw strikes. I just kept thinking that and saying that, make her throw strikes, because she was a little bit all over the place. But then she'd find it and we'd strike out, or we'd hit a weak ground ball or something like that. But credit her, great player. They had our number in game one, but Maya Davis and our defense along with Jaida, it was also the defense behind her that kept us around in that game and gave our offense a chance. Specifically this play, y'all. Watch this insanity. Do. Oh, I didn't bring it in here, y'all. Please hold.
An offering to Altmaier that's swung on and hit toward left center field, giving chases Davis as he dives underneath that one. Is able to take it off the deck. Another great play from the Red Raider outfield, denies the Wildcats a run.
Well, I don't know why it cuts off there. We'll let y'all watch it again.
To Altmaier,
We're not
swung on
stingy.
and hit toward left center field, giving chases Davis as he dives underneath that one.
I mean, Maya Davis. And you heard the guy say another great play from the Texas Tech outfield. They had a couple of good plays in this game. Maya, earlier in this same inning, almost robbed a home run from the girl that's on third base. Like, it just bounced off her glove, but she almost did that, and then a couple batters later, she got it done. So, shout out Maya. They gave us a chance, and then we came up in that next inning, and you're like, all right, here we go, because we got a couple of people on base, if I remember right, and then maybe they turned a double play or something and got out of it. But we just couldn't take advantage in that game, and that's kind of how it ended. I mean, do you have any other thoughts before we jump into game 2?
Yeah, in this game, also Jaida, she passed 200
That was this game.
strikes for the third time in her career. So basically, every single year she's had 200 strikeouts.
Softball,
so good for her.
She might be pretty good
the
at
GOAT.
sport.
Might be pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty
that's
good.
we were talking about before we started recording. We're very spoiled getting to watch Jaida Kennedy pitch so often.
Very.
And if you haven't seen her pitch in person, let's make like 5,000 pitches during the middle of this show on why you should go watch her pitch this weekend along with her teammates. Get out to the Rock this weekend because it's their last home series for now. Hopefully they get to host, but their last home Big 12 series is this upcoming weekend. They have a couple of midweeks as well, tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. If you'd like to go to those, be there. But game 2. So going into game 2, figured Chloe or Sam was going to get the start. That is what happened. I believe Chloe got through the first inning unscathed after we gave her quite a bit of run support, as you'll see in the highlights. We get, once again, score in the first inning. Maya Davis leads it off with the leadoff home run. Some other people come around to score, and then Chloe gets in there, gets us out of the first inning. Was a little bit of choppy work, but that's what Chloe does best. She works around trouble. She weasels out of it. She's like, chill, y'all, I'm Gucci. And then we get in the second inning. We have a 4-run lead, and Glasgow decides to put Kennedy in once it gets a little spicy. And we go from there. So let's show the highlights, and then we'll let Tyler break down all the standouts individually. But you'll see we started off well in this game, which is great because, like, you're worried losing game 1. How would you respond? This team was loose as ever. It just came out ready to go. Maya Davis.
This one into left center field. And that one
What a way to start.
She had like 1 home run, maybe 2 home runs in her career coming into the season. That's her 3rd one. Like, shout out Coach Kaylee Kowalik doing some work with Maya Davis.
And that is lifted into center field, down for a base hit. Lindemuth scores, and it will just be the 1 run there. And that is hit
Demi Elder. I mean, look how close she was to a grand slam there.
So close.
So close.
And scoring is
And credit,
and now
Lauren Allred there scored all the way from second on a sac fly. So good base running on her behalf. Also, I'm assuming Jerry is the third base coach over there still. Sending her on the bobble, took advantage, and she scored. There's been times this year where we get thrown out on the base paths, and we've talked about that because of our aggressiveness. That's the time where our aggressiveness really paid off to give us another run there. A lot of people wouldn't have tried to score there, and we did, and it worked. So needed every run we could get, right? So put the pressure on them early.
So exciting.
Naja's in the game now. She came into this game here in the top of the second with the bases loaded and 1 out and got us out of it.
Hard struck right at Tony, and
Haley Tony. Her defense this series was
against these potent offenses.
There's a bunt from Johnson right away. Sniffin goes to third to get the
this squeeze play. It's one of my favorite things about this team. We run that play quite a bit. We call it quite a bit. Perfectly executed by Alana Johnson there.
And that is pulled well down the right field line. A fair ball.
Have a series, Demi.
Go,
Have a season, Demi.
She is in. And safely into second with an RBI double. Demi Arizona coming on, trying to get this final out as Bailey Lindemuth grounds it up the middle, and it skips.
That was
There we go,
counted
Bailey.
as a hit.
That sets you up not
Put the
only
pressure
for
on,
regional
keep
play,
putting the runs on.
but for supers as well. That happened before.
First pitch swinging, ground ball by Davis.
You ain't
Bobbled
throwing
by
out Maya
Escobar.
Davis with the
Another
bobble.
run
That's just not going to
scores.
happen.
And getting back to the bag at third,
Vic Valdez has the oh, my bad. Has the
she is in.
the best, what is let it go? The best base running tape of anybody on the team. She always makes it interesting. She's got all these.
She does.
Somehow gets back to third on this play in a minute. We'll see. It's coming up next, I think, soon.
But for supers as
You'll
well.
just get to watch it all, but she right here. She gets out of this jam here at third. They thought they had her hung up, and she said, "Nope. Let me just swim all around your tag once again." And she gets a hit. Next time up. This was the most confusing play in the history of softball.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
don't get me started.
What was going on? Like the freaking weird messaging and like the announcer, bless her heart, was like gaslighting herself, and then she was gaslighting me. And I was like, well, maybe she's the only one that knows what the hell's going on. But I swear, how is Reagan Jennings out? It made no sense in my brain how they called a double play on this. I was like, if it's a double, and then they were like, well, it could have been a triple play. I was like, well, then what? Why did the girl score? Like, like it was just this whole thing. It was so weird. But anyway, we ended up getting a run off of that, but there was this long delay because they thought they tagged Reagan or that it should have been a double play. They originally called it a double play. It made no sense, and we had to use one of our challenges to go review it, and thankfully they did, and they came back out and said it was just 1 out, which is all it should have been. And we got to continue the inning on. It was a mess, though.
9-1 for Texas Tech.
And there's
another squeeze play. I don't think that was a squeeze play.
Like
I would be brave to do that with.
Grounded to the right side, fielded by Allred, race to the
Let's
back.
go, Boren.
top 10.
Let's
My
go.
favorite play.
Struck her out.
And this is the end because we got so many runs in that last inning where we got to keep batting because they did the review. It's run rule situation here in the 5th. And Naja takes care of business, along with old Haley Tony.
There we go.
Man, Haley and Bailey were both really good defensively in this series. We are spoiled having them.
We
both
are.
Freshmen over there. They said in this game, I wonder if, well, no, Bailey has had some games off, but Haley Tony, the girl that just made that play, if for some reason you're new here, is a freshman. And she is the only freshman in the country for a power conference school that has started every game this season. You just don't see that at shortstop very often. That's impressive. So, to be clear, she's the only one at shortstop that has started every game this season. Pretty cool.
Yes.
Anyway, let's people know who the highlights were, who the top performers were. There's a lot of good performances in that game, especially offensively. Run ruling Arizona. Oh, by the way, first time Arizona's allowed 10 runs all year. They're second in the Big 12 in pitching, right behind us, and we got 10 runs on them. Take it.
Let's go. Yeah, no, it was a very fun game, winning 10-1 against a really, really, really gritty Arizona squad who, just reading off of Naja's stats, in 4 innings pitched, she only allowed 1 hit, 0 earned runs, and 3 strikeouts. And when you think about that, like Arizona, when I was reading their stats last weekend, like they barely have, like, their only 2 players are below 300 in batting average. So it was just very impressive to see Naja be so great this weekend after we used her a lot in this. I'm glad that we were able to run roll those so that we were able to give her a little bit of rest for 2 innings. Yes, only had to go 4. Maya Davis, she went 2 for 4. And then her RBI was that home run to start off the game. Way to start that off, Maya. Bailey Lindemuth went 2 for 3, had 2 runs and 1 RBI. Lauren Allred had 3 runs. Alana Johnson went 1 for 1 and had 2 RBIs. Demi Elder had that double that we saw and also had 2 RBIs. Vic Valdez had 1 run and 1 RBI as well. And then Logan Holloman went 1 for 2 and had 1 run. So very speed team. Yes, a lot of contributors, but a lot of it was just working the bases.
Yeah, a lot of small ball in this game. You got the home run to start off the game from a player that a lot of people would call one of your small ball specialists. And ironically, she hits a home run because she's an everything player, Maya Davis. But then, yeah, we put the pressure on. This team will definitely score in any way possible, especially when Naja's on the mound. They're like, yeah, if we need to give up an out here to score on a double steal attempt or a squeeze play, giving Naja 1 run is like giving 2 runs to someone else. So we'll do it. They don't mind, but they also have people fast enough that not only are you going to have to defend the squeeze play, but you're also going to actually have to throw her out at first as well, because it might end up being just a bunt single and RBI at the same time. So, yeah, they're fun to watch. That turned it over into Game 3 to set up the rubber match in this game. Have to have it. There was no beating around the bush. If we wanted to host, Arizona's ahead of us in the RPI. There's a lot of people, they're like, even if Texas Tech wins the Big 12, if Arizona beats them in this series, I don't know why you don't give Arizona the host spot, because they're higher in the RPI, and they would have had the head-to-head against Texas Tech. Cool, Texas Tech wins the Big 12 championship, but Arizona beats them in these other 2 phases. We're going to let them host instead, because God forbid we give 2 people in the Big 12 a host spot. Let's pretend like that's not an option for some reason. Like, hello, you can put 2 of us in, like we both deserve. But anyway, because that's where their thinking is right now. Hopefully they come around to this notion that 2 people from the Big 12 could be in. Anyway, that's where they're thinking going into the game, and the team wasn't ignoring that. So we'll set the stage with how Coach Glasgow set the stage for his team. He sent this text message to the team at 7:59 a.m. on Saturday morning. He said, "Today is a huge moment in the season. Own it. Bright lights, loud crowd, all the things champions love and want. ESPN, conference championship on the line, an NCAA regional hosting opportunity on the line, winning every conference series on the line. Yet, ... It is still just a simple 7-inning softball game with 21 outs. I can't wait. Fire emoji. Let's go emoji." That was Jerry Glasgow to his team Saturday morning, and a lot of coaches would be like, let's pretend it's another game. Every game's the same. They don't want to get their team too riled up or put too much pressure on their team. There's all these thought processes behind it. A lot of people try to play it off like it's any other series. He was not going to insult his team, is how I would describe it, by pretending that this game wasn't as big as it was. He knew it. They knew it. Let's not pretend like it's not. Let's go out there and have fun. Let's embrace it and have fun. And I love that. And his team did just that from the jump. They were loose. They were ready to go. And once again, they scored in the first inning of this game. So let's show you the highlights. We got off to a good start. And Nyjah Kennedy was out there starting the game, no question. Out there for a 3rd game in a row. She probably wouldn't have allowed anybody else to walk out on that field that day. If they wanted to, she was going to take the ball and go out there, but she was definitely out there. So we'll show the highlights and then kind of go through the rest. But I think you should just watch this. If for some reason you've missed the highlights, you should get to experience it without being spoiled too much.
Jaida Davis takes the
BRB. What just happened? Nobody knows what's going on. My bad. That was weird. Technology.
second pitch.
Jaida Davis once again
Center bounces it off the wall.
Starts off the game with a hit. She had a hit to lead off the game in all 3 games of this series. All 3 games, and she comes around to score in all 3 games as well, because she does right here. Haley Toney does her job. Forces the fielder to... Or was that Bailey? That was Haley. Honestly, don't know who that was. Anyway, someone drove in the runner. It was either Bailey or Haley. And got it done.
It's a fair ball.
Alana Johnson just quietly getting it going up late.
She's going to be able to get to second, no problem.
So, Alana.
Another squeeze play, executed perfectly that time by the freshman Bailey. Lindemuth, and Alana dives headfirst to get in there. And credit Arizona, they played that about as perfectly as you could, but they just got there right at the same time, and then you saw Alana patting Arizona's catcher on the back there because she was shaking up a little bit. Fun fact, they're former teammates. That's why she was doing that. They played together at Washington last year. She's just checking on her former teammate there, but it's always fun when you get to make a play against your former teammate and beat her on one there, because she beat her to the plate just barely. But Arizona played that well and almost got us, but that's how well we're doing that whole play.
Lindemuth crashing in on it.
Speaking of playing well, does anybody else field bunts as well as Bailey Lindemuth from third? I tell me. Riley Gold Glove last year was great at it, but this girl is like a psychopath. Like, fearless out there.
Agreed.
She's running before. I'm terrified watching her sometimes. She has no fear in her, though.
Look easy.
Even the runner was like, was I out? There's no way she threw me out, right? Like, with room to spare.
There we go.
So at this point, we were up 2-0 for a lot of the game, and then Arizona was at the third inning. They got a couple of runs back They had a solo shot
Yes.
from what was her name?
Dakota Kennedy.
Dakota Kennedy, 10-pitch at bat.
Yes.
Really impressive bat. Her first at bat. That's who Bailey just threw out, by the way, in her second at bat. But her first at bat before that, she had a really good 10-pitch at bat, and she yammed one over the fence. And she's not typically a home run hitter. Hadn't hit one in a while, but she got one to hit. She got her timing right. Really impressive. And then Devin Netz drove in one later in the inning on a sac fly. It was tied. You're like, cool, it's okay. Naja calmed down, got out of the inning, did her job. And then defense pitching for a couple innings, neither team scored. You're going to see that here. You saw Bailey make that play, and then Naja's going to do her job. Get us through it. Now we're into the 6th inning. Bailey Lindemuth just reached, she's on first base. You'll see that in the graphic. On an error, I believe. They ruled an error. Tough call. I think Bailey could have gotten awarded a hit on the play that they called an error. But anyway, she got on base. And then Lauren, clutch city. Lauren Allred, who else do you want up to hit in these situations right now? Said she hadn't had a hit all series, by the way. They were doing a pretty good job on our best hitter, arguably. And she said, no big deal. Y'all need me. I got you. This thing was gone in a hurry.
Lauren Allred just sent it out of the park and put Texas Tech
Bye.
back on top.
Dear Lord. Lauren Allred. 8th home run of the year for the sophomore. Big time. Again, that's Devin Netz. She's their best pitcher.
So
Demi
clutch.
Elder said, not done yet.
Demi Elder.
Demi.
Love this.
Oh, I love the point.
She was so close all series.
All series. The pointing. They were so hyped. They wanted this so bad, and they enjoyed it. I thought at the home run before when they did their little hug thing that they're about to do right here. They didn't show it, but they did it on the last one. Jerry Glasgow, you can watch him on the replays, like running up to like join the hug and everything. Like they were all so hyped to be there. But shout out Demi. I really loved the attention Demi Elder was getting from like the national media and stuff during this game, because this game was on ESPN too. That was also part of the cool part about this game, was it being on ESPN, because that's what pissed me off so much about last year's team not making the tournament. Was because, like, listen, none of us, we didn't think they were going to win a national championship. Like, outside of their locker room, they probably didn't think we were going to get out of the region. Like, no one thought that. We just knew they deserved to be in the tournament because those players deserved to be talked about on a national stage and have their moment. And a lot of those players didn't get that moment, but it's cool to see Demi getting that now because she stayed, and now she's on a team that at least gets there, should get there in the postseason as well, but has gotten there during the regular season because of the caliber team we are, the players we have now, to be on ESPN finally. We all know who Demi Elder is. Texas Tech fans know who she is, right? But it's cool to see those players get to be on the national stage. These Louisiana players, a lot of them have had their stories told because they've been in the spotlight so much in the tournament and all those things. But players like Demi haven't had that moment yet, and they got it robbed last year. She was going to get it later, but I thought it was really cool to see all the tweets and all the people talking about it and the announcers talking about her and all that stuff. So shout out her. Texas Tech fans love Demi Elder. She has a great story. She made that a pretty much game over moment right there because you give Naja a 3-run lead with only 2 innings to go, and then Naja came in there and shut them down. She put 6 up, 6 down to end the game. I believe this is the last batter of the game here. She's about to strike her out on 74 miles per hour, y'all. On a 74-mile-per-hour pitch to end this thing.
Ends it with a strikeout.
On her, 138th pitch of the game and 305th pitch of the series and 138th of that game, she threw at 74 miles per hour. And earlier in the game, she was really kind of containing herself and kind of pacing herself, I would say. And she was more in the upper 60s. But once we got that lead and she needed to close it out to finish it, she juiced it up and they couldn't catch it. Because there was a lot of the games throughout the game they were fouling off a lot of her pitches because she wasn't quite as had the velocity, but she was ready to go. At the end of the game, she said, "Here's my best stuff. Try to hit it. You can't." She blew 3 pitches right past that girl. I don't think she made contact at all on all of her swings. So shout out Naja Kennedy. Shout out Lauren Allred. GOAT. Shout out Demi Elder. Defense came to play. Everybody, they were loose, having fun out there in both the last 2 games. So, good stuff.
Yeah, it was a huge series win to get that. And as you said, I think that just is a testament to how like strong and how resilient Nyjah is because she had to pitch basically 3 games, 3 days. I mean, I'm sure she was tired, and then that third inning because of all the like defensive like errors and all the good hits Arizona was getting. I mean, it got her pitch count up to like the 60s already or something in the third inning. It was insane, and there was like a 40 pitched inning or something. I was like getting stressed. I was like, good Lord. But, in softball, it doesn't necessarily matter, but it's still a lot. And I was like, dang, Nyjah's going to break 100 like before the 5th inning. But she was able to pull through, and she ended up having, 3 strikeouts. She pitched in all 7 innings, only had those 2 earned runs. She also ended up going up to bat and had a single to left field and went 1 for 1 in that. So it was good that they got to see Nyjah hit some. Maya Davis went 1 for 3 with that double and had that run. Alexa Langeliers had 1 RBI. Bailey Lindemuth went 1 for 2, had 1 run and 2 RBIs. Lauren Allred, we saw, got 2 RBIs in and had that home run going 1 for 3. Demi freaking Elder went 2 for 3, just had a great weekend. Great weekend for Demi Elder. She had her moment, went 2 for 3 and had 1 run and then had that RBI, which was a homer. And then Alana Johnson went 1 for 2 with that double that we saw. Yes. Very steady. So
the
good
broadcast when they weren't too busy talking about how shocked they were that Texas Tech was playing softball.
Oh gosh, yes.
I get it, but like 4 innings in a row was a bit much. But anyway, when they finally moved on to that and started talking about the players on the team, they were talking about how important Alana Johnson is to this lineup and how when she kind of is doing well, the team typically is, which is true. She is kind of that cog in there in the middle that we need her to be her, and I feel like she's starting to come around to settling into what she's doing here. So that was great to see. Overall, big stuff. Got the win. Put them in a really good spot. They're 36-10 now, 16-2. 16-2 in Big 12 play. Absurd. They've won every single series in conference play, 6 for 6. Y'all heard us talk about this before, but Jerry Glasgow's streak is now up to 58 straight conference wins in his career. Never has lost a series. He just knows how to get his teams to do that. And then I also learned that it was the 10th time amongst that streak that his team has lost the first game and still come back to win the next 2 to win the series as well. So
I was wondering that.
Ways. Yeah, it was not the first time it's happened. So they haven't always had to win game 1. But his teams have shown to be clutch before. They just know how to do it. So it doesn't matter what it is. Let's hope they do it again this weekend.
And this weekend, we'll take on Arizona State. And I believe, depending on how things shape out, I'm pretty sure and confident that Saturday or Sunday we could be declared at least a share or clinch of the Big 12 regular season title. So one of those. So just go to the whole entire series this weekend. We play at 6:00 Friday. It's Meow in the Park.
It could happen
anytime. Just to be sure. Yes.
For the celebration.
Gotta go to all of it. Watch the celebration. So yeah, Friday night we play at 6:00. It'll be on ESPN Plus. But if you're gonna go to the game and you have a cat, you can bring your cat to the game. Meow in the Park.
What day is that?
Fill out the form. Friday. Friday at 6:00.
Be on my toes because me and cats don't get along, but okay.
Oh no. Yeah. So we'll have the cats there, and then on Saturday, 4:00, it's Bark in the Park, and there's a dog bandana giveaway for your dog. So bring your dog to the game.
Let's go.
Yes, bring your dog. Bring your dog to the game on Saturday. That'll be fun. Bark in the Park's always a special line. It tends to bring in a lot of students, a lot of fans. Y'all can go see it. Bring them out to the outfield. All the things. Can you imagine having your dog bark at the Arizona State outfielders while they're
That's on Saturday.
Yes,
that could
on
be
Saturday.
A Big 12 championship celebration with all the
could
dogs barking.
Yes.
Can we bring all the dogs on for the dog
All the
pile
dogs.
with the dogs?
Let's do it.
You know how viral this moment would go? I need the world
It'd be
to make
insane.
it happen.
Yes, and then Sunday we play at noon, and it's actually going to be our senior recognition day, because it's the last series. So yes, we'll have many fathead giveaways, I believe, of Lex and of Demi. So y'all be there for that. Be there for those seniors. They've all contributed so much to this program. Demi's one of the OGs. Alexa came in and just absolutely has done her job hitting. So it's going to be really sad to see these seniors go.
We'll talk about the seniors more next week.
Yes, for sure.
We'll do little Demi and Alexa segments next week, short ones.
Yes,
we could do it
for
right
sure.
Now,
yeah.
But you should go and celebrate them, y'all. Be there.
Yes. please celebrate our seniors on Sunday. And then just a little preview of Arizona State. They are a pretty solid team. They are a pretty good team. They were making some waves against, I think, teams like Oregon earlier the year when I watched them. Some of their best hitters. Yes, they can. Some of their best hitters was Tanya Wendell hitting at 377. She has 3 home runs on the year. AJ Murphy hitting at 366 with 4 home runs on the year. Tiara Ho Ching at 349. And it looks like that their real home run hitter is Kelsey Hall, shooting at 338, but she she has 10 home runs. And then the person that leads the team in home runs is Ashley Mejia, hitting at a 285, but she has 13 home runs on the year. So Arizona
She's looking forward
to that Lubbock Wind.
Yes, for sure. Arizona State is a team that has good bats, kind of like Arizona. Their bats have definitely kept them in a lot of games. And then their pitching wise, they have 2 good pitchers, 2 really good pitchers. Kenzie Brown, she only has a 1.19 ERA. I'm sure that she's a division leader in that somewhere, maybe 10 or top 20 at least, because that's really good. I think I watched her beat Oregon. Solid pitcher, has solid stuff with that.
She's second in the Big 12 in ERA behind Jaida.
Oh, yeah, and she has 237 Ks, so yes, very good.
She's first in the Big 12 in innings pitched at 144 and 2/3 innings pitched.
Oh, okay.
Right
17 and
behind
5.
her is Jaida at 144. She has 2/3 more innings pitched than Jaida. But yeah, so you could see a lot of Kenzie Brown and Nyjah Kennedy this weekend. It could just be
going to be a dog match.
No
pun intended.
Yeah.
And then Mika Loppe, or Lop, however you say her name, she has a 2.71 ERA. Looks like she'll be the relief pitcher, and she's played in 15 games this year and has 75 strikeouts. But it really looks like that Kenzie Brown versus Nyjah matchup is going to be the matchup of the weekend.
Yeah, Loppe has over 100 innings pitched, so it must just be Kenzie Brown and me. That's their entire staff. That's 244 innings, basically 230 innings pitched between them two. So yeah, that'll be good. They're a good team. They're 37th in the RPI, so a good chance for us to boost our RPI a little bit more. This weekend they are. Let's see what they are as a team. They are 4th in the Big 12 in batting, right behind us at 309 as a team, and they are 4th in the Big 12 in team ERA as well. But again, like I said, they have the number 2 ERA pitcher in the league, in Kenzie Brown. Is that what her name is? Is that what I said? Kenzie Brown. So she's probably going to pitch as many innings as her heart can handle this weekend against us, would be my guess. They're fighting for a postseason bid and all those things, trying to get their RPI a little higher, and wins against us would be a good way to do that. So that's how we're trying to win a Big 12 title here. They're trying to get into the postseason, and they know that these games matter big. They just won a series with Baylor coming in, and now they're trying to get some games off of us. So hopefully they don't, but they're a good team. Good team. Probably the best team that's been in Lubbock since Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think so.
Yeah, for fans. So they're a good softball team. So get out there, watch them. Let's sell that place out. Don't trust our math. Be there for every game just in case. I do think the magic number is 2. If Arizona was playing, we could watch that, but Arizona doesn't have a Big 12 series, so it's on us. So the magic number being 2 means we need to win 2. If we had won one and they lost on the same night on Friday, then it could have been Friday, but they don't even play. I do think if we win on Friday, we clinch at least a share. You could maybe argue that we clinch maybe a share of the Big 12 title, but that's complicated. So let's say Saturday is outright Big 12 champs if you win on Friday and you win on Saturday. Not an easy thing to do. Let us stress, Arizona State is a good softball team. They've got wins over. They have a number of top 25 wins this year, so they're not going to come in scared. They played good teams and beaten some good teams. So we're going to have to give our best. But you do what you did up in Arizona, down in Lubbock. Have fun, stay focused, and own it. Like they said, let's get it done. Can't wait.
Let's do it.
It'd be much more fun to celebrate here. They have a lot of chances to win the Big 12. They could do it next weekend too. It's always a lot more fun to do it in Lubbock. If I can be selfish, that would be cool.
For sure.
All right. Next, speaking of someone that did win the Big 12. They've already done it. They've wrapped it up. We talked about it at the beginning. Let's show you some highlights from the women's tennis team going down to Waco. And they won the Big 12 tournament title, which I believe is also their first Big 12 tournament title since 2017 when they won the regular season that year too. So this year they've swept it both. They're undisputed champs, winning both the regular season and the Big 12. They had to beat Baylor in the semifinals to do it on their home court. That was hype for a lot of reasons, as we talked about before. Little familiar face down there. That's all I'm gonna say. Sometimes life happens fast, Tyler. Sometimes life happens fast. Anyway, so we beat Baylor. Thought maybe you'd have a chance to match up with Oklahoma State, but Oklahoma State lost to UCF, who is top 25 as well. I think UCF came in number 22, and we took care of business in that one 4-2. Here is the very end of the match when old Kate clinches it for the second time. She clinched the Big 12 title back in Lubbock regular season, and she clinches this one too. So there was actually announcers and everything because it was on
Top two teams
court, whatever
in the
they
Big
call
12.
it.
So fitting. As junior Kate Dmitrichenko, 20-1 now overall in 2025. Number 20, the biggest of the season as it delivers the first conference tournament title for the Red Raiders since 2017. Undisputed Texas Tech's the Big 12 champion. 4-2 Red.
Let's go. Hype. That was so hype. There's great pictures. You saw the photographer running in there getting the pictures. She put some great content out from that. That's just cool. This team works hard. We talked about it last week. They're West Texas tough, and they embody that. And I just don't, I can't wait to watch them in the NCAA tournament, Tyler. That should absolutely lock up. I don't know when that starts. Does that start next week? Gosh, I need to look it up. They might be in town next
May
week.
2nd through the 4th. So
okay,
I think
they have a
2
couple
weeks.
Of weeks off.
Yeah.
That's good. So they have a couple of weeks off, and they should get to host the first round at minimum. I don't know how it works
We
exactly,
better.
but they were expecting
we'll find another
to be
committee.
Yes, they were expecting to be a top 16 seed. It's similar to softball, where you need to be a top 16 seed to host that first pod. They were just saying they'd be at the end of that, and so they felt like, we'll probably have to do well at the turn. Well, they won the Big 12 tournament, so there's no reason they're not going to not have the regular season and the Big 12 tournament champs be a top 16 seed. So they'll be in Lubbock for an NCAA tournament round, so 2 weekends from now, week and a half from now, be there. I'll be there. I think I'll be there. That's not the same weekend as the softball tournament, is it? We still have a few weeks till that, right?
Oh, yeah. No, that's not until the 16th and the 18th,
Okay,
I think.
good. Perfect.
Yes.
So, because I'm going to do my best to go to Oklahoma City for that. So, yeah. So, we get to watch NCAA tournament action here for tennis, and then maybe in a few weeks for softball. That's pretty hype. They're doing the damn thing over in that section of the athletic complex. Those stadiums, the courts and the softball stadium are right next to each other, if you weren't aware. So you can go catch both of them in the same, well, they won't be there at the same time. But anyway, go tennis. Y'all are great. Good times, great coach, great players. They're a lot of fun to watch. Just go ahead and make your plans to be there if you've never been out there. They're hyped to watch.
They are, yeah. Congrats to them. I mean, huge. I think with Baylor, as a matter of fact, with the Baylor game, we got our doubles point, but I think we started off like almost everybody lost their first set. So it was really stressful, and then we battled back and came back and won that. I think Sheriff had that clutch point, and then as we saw against UCF yesterday on Easter, Kate got the clutch match point and won the game. Won the match, and everyone was going insane and was so happy. I'm just really happy for this team. They work really hard, and it's just great to see that because it's not easy to win a regular season title and a tournament title as well, having to face these same teams. So good for them. So proud of them.
Yep, for sure. They beat 3 top 30 teams basically to get that championship down in Waco. And now they'll get to take on another really good team in a couple of weeks. But yeah, they're gritty. They're a lot of fun. They don't get concerned. If they get down, as long as they win that doubles point, they're Gucci. They get a doubles point, they're like, we'll find a way to scrap our way to 3 singles wins. No big deal. They could be down in all of them, and they come back. They're really well conditioned as well. I feel like when I was out there watching them a couple of weeks ago, you could just see that the other people would get tired as the match went on, and our players were not getting tired. Like there's people like cramping and all the things in the Arizona school ones, and we were like chill, just sipping on our water. So that helps a little bit. So, go tennis, fun to watch. Can't wait to watch it. I'm glad to get a week off to chill and rest and celebrate and then get back at it. Into basketball. Lots of happenings in the portal on the coaching and the players side. The Lady Raiders, we did a video on Jada Malone. If you haven't seen that, it's a couple back, or so you can go watch it. It's somewhere on our YouTube channel. But Texas Tech signed Jada Malone from Texas A&M, a 6'3" forward center. I think she'll play the 5 for us, would be my guess. I'll let Tyler give a brief overview of her, because Tyler loves her. Big fan.
Yes. I'm a big Jada Malone fan. Her current stats that she has is she had 8.7 points per game this past season at Texas A&M, 4.9 rebounds per game, and I think that the biggest highlight is she finishes at 62.9% is her field goal percentage. Elite finisher. I think that the biggest thing that I also mentioned in the video, go back and watch it, is that she was one of the OGs. She got to go under her freshman year under Hall of Fame coach Gary Blair, who's a Texas Tech alum, all the things. You can hear all about it in the video. She was number 9 in the state of Texas. She was like top 100 ESPN recruit out of high school, and she's just absolutely elite. She's proved it in the SEC, gone up against some great competition in the WNBA like Jessica Carter when she was at Mississippi State. She's faced, Camila Cardoso against South Carolina. All those big names, Jada Malone, she's faced it. I have no doubt that she can absolutely tear it up in Big 12 play.
I'm excited for that finishing. That's what I'm excited for.
Yes.
You said 69%. Sure. She's basically 70-something%. We looked it up within the rim, which is way over the D1 average, like almost 20% above the D1 average. And area, we struggled greatly last year, particularly from the post position, but all around. But our posts were like in the 40% range in that category, and she's in the 70% range. So big difference. We're going to have to be able to get her the ball, but if you can get her the ball down there, she'll do work for you. So I'm excited. Here's some highlights on her before we get into some coaches that will be joining as well.
Great. You'll be in the huddle all day long. Here is Malone for 2. Jada Malone.
She'll rebound the hell out of the ball, that's for sure.
And also Wade Botts. Some
Quick off bounce there. Great pass out to a 3-point shooter. We love it. Aware of her surroundings.
Off the pull-up, rattles in and out.
Thank you.
Okay. There we go. Work.
Yeah, and you think that she's just chunking it up there, right? But no, again, 70% from that area. Like she's got that hook shot down. I mean, Gemma's about to get 3 assists a game for this girl if she's doing that stuff. In transition, I can run a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, again? Reverse layup.
This is my favorite play. Favorite play. There we go.
A little bit. We talked about.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. We talked about this in the video because we didn't have that from the post spot last year. The threatened defenses from out there a little bit can take you off the dribble. This video right here is from against West Virginia this season. Off the dribble, takes a similar play. Says, okay, you're going to get out of my way? Bet. So she can do a little bit of it all. She's a former top 100 recruit, number 9 player in the state of Texas, 4-star recruit. Had an injury 2 years ago, so she missed the 23-24 season. But this past year, she was coming back from that. Man, I'm really excited for her. She can kind of really get back to that player she was 2 years ago. It could be a really major win. Really solid player last year as well. Put up some really good numbers. Go watch the video. You'll hear us talk all about it. Had some big moments, doubles and stuff against top 25 SEC schools. And again, she's done this against SEC competition, power competition. So it's not like, oh, is it going to translate? Like as long as she puts the work in the summer, which I don't have any reason why she wouldn't. She sounds like a really mature player, really motivated player. She's here in the summer like that last year's group that was so motivated. They put the work in. That was not the problem for last year's team. They did put in work. If they joined that, had that same kind of attitude, I just don't know how it wouldn't translate in that form. Now, I don't know that she's like a 40-minute player They're going to have to pair her, and there might be someone coming along, perhaps with one of these new coaches we're talking about soon, or you have someone like Sarah, gives a little bit of a different vibe, different way she plays that can pair with her. They both play 20 minutes or whatever it'll be. She's not a 40-minute player, but 20-plus minute player for sure that could be very impactful in the minutes she's in there and give us something that we have not had in a long time as far as someone to be able to finish. Like when our guards get her the ball. Now our guards are going to have to get her the damn ball. Let's get our post-entry passes figured out, please. But if you get her the ball, she's going to finish it more times than not, which is just not something that's been happening down there. It's been kind of like, oh, let's see. And that's different for her. So, quote from Coach Gerlich on Jada Malone. She says, Jada is a dominant force in the paint. She has tremendous footwork and knows how to demand the ball. Her presence in the paint is something we have needed for a long time. To top it off, she is a phenomenal human being. I can't wait for our fans to get to know Jada Malone. Yeah, she seems like a great person. She interacted with us a little bit when we posted all of her videos, welcoming her to the team and stuff. Really appreciative. She's seems like he's a senior, 5th-year senior, leadership, all the things. So I'm excited to have her. They got the point guard spot before that and the 5 spot. Those are 2 spots we've really struggled to really find impact ads for whatever reason. We've tried to put people in those positions that were pretty good, but that wasn't their natural spot. And now they made it a point of emphasis with their first 2 pickups to go get a number 1, a 1 player and a 5 player. And I think that tells you how important they were. And we'll see who else they pick up, but they might have most of their impact players on the roster right now. There are some guards and some other people are going after, and perhaps a class of 25 person will monitoring with the new coach that they just picked up. But yeah, that's potentially 2 starters they've picked up now in their first 2 transfer pickups. And you can't really complain about that. So any other thoughts on Jada? Again, go watch the video. We can sit here and I know we could talk about her forever, and I'm tempted to, like Gemma last week too. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, oh, but we just did this. So go watch the whole video. It's like a 30-minute video. But if you have any tidbits you think they have to hear, let them know, Tyler, because I know you're a fan.
Yeah, I think that what we're going to love about Jada Malone is she's such a hard worker, and that her finishing in the paint is going to just be so huge for us. And to have a presence, I think that's been something that we've kind of been lacking, is like, having that true traditional post that has size but is also able to rebound and also finish at a high rate. And I'm really excited that we're finally going to get to have that. And as you said, and as Coach Gerlich said, she seems like she's a phenomenal human being. Does a lot of, I think, like charity work and things like that, kind of like what Jordan Merritt brought to the team. So wouldn't be surprised if she wins, like, the Service Worker of the Year award or, volunteer thing. Yeah, she's a very hard worker. She's a great human being. So I think that I think fans are really going to love her. And she's been so nice on interacting social media and all the things. So
she seems really happy to be here. She's going to be a good lady raider on and off the court. So yeah, like you said, it's something that we missed. She doesn't just take up space. There's a difference between taking up space in the lane and owning the space. She very much owns the space, and we have not had someone that have owned the paint in that way. I think that's the difference. We've had people even taller, even bigger than her, to be honest, but they haven't really owned the space. So I'm hoping she's going to own it. That's what I'm hoping. Some coaches that are coming in that maybe had a hand in recruiting her, I think it's possible, were announced today that we've been hinting at on the show. I wasn't 100% sure if it was a done deal or not, but we've heard these names for a bit. They were announced today, so I guess signed, sealed, got it done. 2 new assistant coaches, both with SEC experience under their belt, one with some head coaching experience elsewhere, which is big, came over in Ketara. Hopefully I'm saying that properly. Chapel?
I think it's
from Auburn?
Chapel, maybe?
Chapel? That's what I'm going with. Chapel from Auburn. She spent a few years at Auburn. She played at Mississippi State. She's a former player at Mississippi State, was a 6'1" forward there on their team that made it to the Elite Eight one year, and then the next year she was there, made it all the way to the national championship. I think it was the first Final Four, and maybe in program history or first in a while there. Got on there, got to the national championship. She has national championship game experience as a player, and then she coached under Vic Schaefer, who was her coach at Mississippi State, a little bit right out of college at Texas, and then was over at Auburn as well. I believe she coaches post players. She's the coach that I was hinting about last week when I was talking about, I think they got a coach that will be a good pair with Jalen. I could be wrong. I don't know what the plan is there on who's going to take over kind of that role, but She was a 6'1" forward in college. She was kind of like that tweener guard forward type. Jalen's 6'2", 6'3". She's that tweener guard forward type. I think that could be a good pairing for her. So I have. Do you have any thoughts on her before we talk about the next one, and then we can give the quote from Gerlich? But we've been kind of talking about her for a little bit behind the scenes, but I think it's a great pickup. I'm excited.
It is. Very excellent pickup. And during her time at Auburn, she was responsible for one of the top recruiting classes in the country, and had Auburn not let go of which a very, very well-respected coach, Johnny Harris, part of that Gary Blair coaching tree. They had... It was.
When that staff got
it was a surprising move because they had I think a top 25 recruiting class coming in this year, but it seems like she's the recruiter. She was the recruiter for Auburn, helped push them to their first NCAA tournament experience tournament appearance since 2019. She's done a lot of that, but it seems like a lot of the recruits really love her, and that's what drew them into Auburn was because of whatever Ketara does with development and working with them. So I think that this is a very, very excellent pickup.
For sure. Yeah, she was the recruiting coordinator at Auburn. That was her title. That is her title here as well. She's going to be a recruiting coordinator and an assistant coach. There's a great interview with her. I think You Got Next or something like that is what it's called on YouTube from 2023. Yes. So a couple years ago, you can go find it. But we watched that. I watched it sometime last week, and we were like, "Oh, okay. I think I like her. I like her that she's like, yeah, I can relate with the players." But I think my favorite thing from that interview. They asked her what the Auburn players, because she was at Auburn at the time, how they would describe her. And she was like, they'd probably call me mean. And they were like, really? She's like, yeah, no, they'd probably call me mean. But then she goes on to say, but they'd also probably call me the nicest person as well. Because she says off the court, she's very nice. She's very I'm here to help you, whatever. I'm not your friend. But I'm here to help you with whatever you need, life or court or otherwise.
Love that.
On the court, she's like, I'm all about winning, and if you don't do your shit, she didn't say that, I'm paraphrasing for her, but if you don't do what you're supposed to do, if you don't do the drill the way I want you to do it, or the way I know how the head coach wants you to do it, we're going to do it again until you get it right. And so that's why they would call her mean and demanding as a coach. But as a person and as a coach off the court, she's the nicest one. And even today, when she put out her announcement and stuff on Instagram, you can see Auburn players are in there y'all got a good one, congrats coach, y'all are gonna love her. That's a good sign to me. So she seems like a good person. I love the part where they would call me mean because she's demanding and wants to win. She's like, I'm a competitor and I want to win, and I'm gonna hold my players to the standard because I know how good they can be. I'm not saying that wasn't happening before. Again, wasn't at practice, but I like to hear that is what's going to be happening in practice, or at least continue to happen, or going to be happening now. I think we have some players on this team that could use that. I think they want that, if I'm being honest. I think there's players on this team that want to be held to that standard and pushed that way. And I think she's going to do that. And she's not super far removed. 2017 was her final year playing, so she does have that little bit of relatability. So that is Coach Chappell on one side. And then you bring in someone with a little bit more experience on the other side, and Coach Jada Williams, who has both head coach experience over in the Sun Belt. She was the head coach at Coastal Carolina from about 2013 to 2021, 2022. She was actually the Sun Belt Coach of the Year in 2020. Broke all these records for her school, and then a lot of teams got their season just ended because of COVID, right? And so they didn't get to go to the tournament, which was a bummer for her, but they broke all these records, had the best record in school history, I think. Coach of the Year. And then for a lot of mid-majors, especially, COVID really messed with their programs. A lot of people transfer, and they just could never quite get back to those heights. So she decides to go over to the SEC, become an assistant coach under Coach Yo at Ole Miss for a couple of years, credited with helping a couple of their players that have recently been drafted in the last couple of years get there. I believe she's a guard coach. We were talking about it before. I don't know. All coaches can coach a lot of things, but it seems like she worked with guards quite a bit, and she was a guard. She played college basketball at Cal Poly as well, so she might work with our guards on this team and has had some experience working with a couple of players now in the last 2 years that have been drafted in the WNBA out of Ole Miss. So she brings some head coaching experience and some experience in the SEC over here. Just a great player. Let's see what Gerlich had to say about her specifically. Oh, I guess we didn't read. Oh, this is Ketara. Let's see what she says. We'll go back and get Ketara. It says, Jaida has proven success at many levels and regions across the country. Her experience as a head coach while also assisting on SEC and ACC staffs gives her a perspective that will add to the overall success of our program. Jada understands the importance in cultivating talent, building relationships, and developing our players to their full potential. So that is what Coach Gerlich had to say about her specifically. You have any thoughts about Jada Williams?
Yeah, I'm super excited about Jada Williams. I think whenever she was at Wake Forest as an assistant, she did bring in a top 25 recruiting class as well. So I really like that we're seeing a lot of these people that know how to relate to these younger athletes and are able to recruit. That Sun Belt Conference of the Year, Coach of the Year is that's a very, very tough thing to win because the Sun Belt has like a lot of teams in there. So to be the best of that is impressive. And then absolutely we can't hide away from she has that SEC experience under like the Coach Yo. She was on the staff whenever Ole Miss shocked the world and upset #1 Stanford and ended Cameron Brink's title senior year run. Yeah, they were the ones that did that to advance to the Sweet 16. So huge stuff for Coach Williams, and I'm so glad that she's on the staff.
Yeah, for sure. And again, she brings that head coaching experience, which I don't believe our former staff. I don't think anybody had any head coaching experience. Doesn't mean, again, I'm going to miss them and I wish them the best, and Planet Pearson and Coach AC, and they did great things for this program. And I'm sure they already have jobs lined up, and we're about to hear where these are, and those programs are going to be very lucky to have them. But sometimes you just need change. You need fresh ideas. You need fresh faces around. And I don't think it hurts that one of them's going to have a little head coaching experience when you get into those games where it's the Big 12, and sometimes your game plan's not going to work, and sometimes that's just because the other teams are good. It's not that it was a bad game plan. Sometimes maybe it was, and like, oh, we didn't do good here. It happens. And we need to change it in game, and to have another person with that perspective and that experience in that huddle, it's like, hey, let's try this. I think that's important to have, and something that's good to have. And now she's around, so she's going to be able to do that. She, again, good recruiter. A lot of people had good things to say about her at all of her stops, so that's always good to see. We didn't read this quote. Hold on, because I didn't know it existed. Let me go back to the quote on Ketara, and then I'll give you the quote that Gerlich had about both of them. If I can find it, because my computer is deciding to attack me. So this is from Coach Gerlich on Coach Chappell. It says, Ketara is a rising star in this profession. I would agree with that. Her playing experience under Vic Schaefer at Mississippi State, coupled with working on Joni Harris's staff at Auburn, gives her instant credibility with our players and fans. In her young professional career, she has already coached and helped develop pros in the post position. Her passion and authenticity are genuine traits that help her attract the right players that we want to be Lady Raiders. Let's go. That's everything we just said. Coach Gerlich knows. We already knew who she was. It's true. When we heard this name floating around, we were like, hey, I like this one. We're be excited about this one. So glad he got it done. And her passion is evident. Like today, I mean, she's retweeting everything.
Oh, wow. Yes.
From little us, she's retweeting it. Everybody that's saying congrats and thank you. She's like, can't wait to meet everybody. She seems like she really wants to get integrated in the community and learn everything about it. I don't know if she's already here. I don't know when they get here, but yeah, her passion is evident. I can see why she's a good recruiter. Like she's like, and she has that like young energy, like wants to go do it and prove people wrong kind of like attitude. Like, well, let's go take Texas Tech back to the tournament. Let's go. I'm not scared. I got Mississippi State there as a player for the first time in the Final Four. I helped Auburn get back to the tournament for the first time in a while there. Let's go do it at Texas Tech. I'm not afraid. I kind of like it. So that's what she had to say about her individually. And then overall, she had a quote kind of about what we just talked about. I'm excited. This is from Coach Gerlich. I am excited to announce our most recent additions. And Jada Williams and Ketara Chappell both bring a vast range of recruiting contacts and experience that will help us add high-level talent to our roster. I'm impressed with their energy, ambition, and work ethic to land players that not only perform on the court, but represent our core values as a Lady Raider program. So overall, I like it so far. Seems like maybe they've helped bring in some good players. Maybe there's some more players to watch. We'll keep an eye on that maybe have connections to them in the coming weeks. But this roster is starting to take place. We have April 21st. It'll be about a month and a half from now when they all meet up for the first time for their first summer practices and get to work. And we'll get to find out how mean/nice Coach Chappell is. We don't know yet on Williams. I need to find an interview on her, but I'm sure she has some good stuff said about her as well with her experience around. So, yeah.
Super excited. Again, SEC experience, bringing it to the table. I think it's going to be huge additions. I think they're going to get this program to where it needs to be.
Yeah, it's helped. Again, I think my thing is you just needed a change because, like, it's really hard to get. How do you get someone to believe that something's going to change if nothing changes? That's where I'm at. It's nothing against what was here and what is now. It's really hard to get, especially 18 to 22-year-olds, to believe something's going to change about next year if nothing changes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Something has changed. There's new blood, there's new faces, there's new energy. Hopefully that brings some actual change, something that they can lean on, some more voices around. We'll see. It can only help, right? It can only help.
Right. It can only help.
So I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited that it's announced so they can get to work. I'm sure they are too. So that's them. On the men's basketball side, they added a couple more players. Josiah Mosley, he is a transfer from Villanova. Just real quick, want to show you this adorableness because our guy had the greatest announcement in the history of transfer announcements. I mean, is this not great? It tells you everything about a player.
Love
One,
that.
he's a great dude. Wants to give a shout out to his former fans there. It's like, thank you, Nova Nation, on the bottom left, saying goodbye to his people. Next stop, Texas Tech, ready to go. Let's go. And I think this has been like a trend going around on social media lately where everyone's cartoonizing themselves. So he's also up on all the trends and said, I want to do that. And I'm going to do it this way. So that was Josiah Mosley from Villanova. I'm sure we'll put out like a in-depth video on him once he actually signs. I like to wait till they sign because I've been burned before, y'all. Maybe he has signed, but they haven't announced that he signed, but I've been burned before by these things, so I'm not going to go do a deep dive in-depth breakdown on his entire game until the team says he's signed, sealed, and delivered. But do you know much about him? Have any thoughts on him at all that you've seen?
I think I probably have seen him play quite a bit, and I'm sure that he contributed a lot of great things. Villanova, I haven't seen like a lot of his film or highlights, but Villanova is a very respectable program, and I'm sure that Grant found what he needs to help fill in some spots on the roster. So super excited for him.
Let's go. And then the other player that was announced this week was actually a high school player, which we don't get a lot under the McCaslin era. He doesn't recruit a lot of high school guys, but he did, which tells you he's really high on Nolan Groves from Minnesota, I believe. I'm not sure, somewhere up there. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in his state, and he was recently committed to Yale, but he decommitted like 2 weeks ago. Been taking visits to different places, and he got to Lubbock this weekend, and he said, that's where I want to be. And I think there was a quote that he put out, something like literally like, I just felt like a connection that I couldn't, like I just canceled the rest of his visits and said, this is where I want to be. He's felt really connected to the coaching staff and the vision for this program and kind of what they had going on. So that's Nolan Graves. He, you know, my initial reaction was, oh, that's cool. We'll see how he develops and when he plays. Because, again, Grant's not one to typically play, at least not so far, when he's been at Texas Tech, play freshmen or even have freshmen on the roster most of the time. But I did hear from somebody that Grant is very high on this kid and that he plans for him to be a part of, like, an actual part of the team next year. Like, he's not just here to have, like, sit on the bench and develop. He thinks Nolan's going to be a major player, and he's going to have to earn it and show that in practice when time gets here. But he didn't sign him just as we'll see him in a couple of years guy. He very much plans for him to be a part of the team, which I thought was an interesting nugget. So, yeah, go check out more on him. There's lots of stories out there. Maybe we'll do something on him. I'll definitely do him on the transfers. It's a little bit hard to find tape on high school guys sometimes, especially a late riser like this. He wasn't ranked or anything. Originally was committed to Yale. He started to shoot up lately and got more offers, and he went and took advantage of those other offers. And now he's a Red Raider, so he didn't have a cute little cartoon commitment picture, but you can't all be Josiah, so we can work on that.
For sure.
All right, next on the list, let them know what happened in track.
Yes, so track last week, because we did our show earlier before they were announced, Temi Tope Adeshina and Oscar Edlin, they swept the Big 12 Track Conference Athletes of the Week awards on the men and women's side, so congrats to them. And then, as I said last weekend, they were kind of like all over the entire country in track, but the big ones were Ernest. He placed second in the 10K with a personal best at 27 minutes, 45.65 seconds. Guys, it came down to a photo finish to see who got first, and he missed it by 0.02 of a second. So super, super, super close in that race. Anastasia Chepkorir won the women's 10K. She had a personal best of 33 minutes, 31.17 seconds, which is number 8 all time for Texas Tech. Victoria Gordlova finished third in her Red Raider debut in the long jump at 20 feet and 10 inches. Temitope Adeshina, hear that name again, she won the high jump at 6 foot 2 3/4 of an inch. It's her season best. She is now ranked second in the entire country in the NCAA. Freshman BJ Jennings took second in the high jump at 7 feet and 2.5 inches, and Busola Akinduro won the triple jump with 42 feet and 11 3/4 of an inch. Sounds like it was mainly a huge weekend for the runners and jumpers. That's who we all sent over, I think, into California. And then I believe that their next meet is coming up, I think this weekend. I'm not quite sure who they're competing against. It might be at home. Not quite sure on that. But they had a really great weekend in California.
Yeah, they were kind of all spread around different places, like you said.
Yes.
So. Yeah, go track. Can't wait. Getting closer and closer to Big 12s. Let's go win another Big 12 title. Tennis got us 2 already. Track has us 2. We're up to 4 Big 12 titles on the year, right? Now?
Think so.
As
yes.
a school? I mean, let's go. About to be 5 this weekend, softball. Do work.
Let's do it.
On the other side of stickball things, baseball, dropped a tough series up in Arizona State. A little bit of a weird one from what I gathered. I watched a little bit of the games, but the broadcast quality was really giving me like seasickness. So that was a struggle. But they really fought in both of them. I know they lost the first game. Was it 10-4 in the first game? The second game they lost, but there was a lot of controversy. Like we had a lead and it was starting to rain really hard, and they scored kind of a run that you felt like maybe they should have called the game already, so they tied it, and then the game gets called naturally after they tied it because that's how it works, home field advantage, and they call it, suspend it till the next day because it's tied instead of, if they hadn't scored, the game just would have been over because it was late enough, but it's tied, so they have to suspend it, bring it around to the next day, and then Arizona State wins. So that was kind of a deflating one. Now, that's on us still. We should have been able to regroup mentally. It was tied. We weren't losing, and they were able to do that and win. But momentum's a thing, and that hurt. So we lost game 2, but they did come around and win game 3, 12-8. So we scored a lot of runs. Once again, hitting doesn't seem to be the problem this year for the most part. That's what they scored 23 runs in 3 games up in Arizona, but only came away with 1 win. So that's tough. Pitching matters, but they're hitting a lot of home runs. Tracer had 1. Tracer Lopez, Logan Hughes, Damian Bravo, Davis Rivers had 2, and Peyton Schultz had 1 as well. So they're booming them out the park. I think they're playing right now. I hope they're booming them out of ACU's park. Hopefully.
Yes.
Don't break my heart, Tyler.
Let's see the update. They were winning 7-0, and
Okay.
It is. All right, they are up 9-2. They had
Let's
2
go.
scoreless in the books for Perko, our pitcher, and we'll head into the 9th. So we're up 9-2.
Truly to
Got to go ahead to the bottom of the 9th.
We can
Yes.
hold on to a 7-1
Finish it.
lead, and
Yes.
we'll beat ACU tonight. They are off tomorrow because that game was supposed to happen. They postponed it. I don't know when till, but not playing, and then they'll go off to I don't know who they play this week. Do they have a game this week?
Yes, they're playing at home.
Of course they are, because God forbid we have the teams in opposite places. Anyway, continue.
Right. Yes. I think yes, they're playing at home. Hold on the opponent. Let's see. Let's see. Arizona. Yes, they're playing Arizona Friday through Sunday. So, yes, we'll have both of them going on at the same time. Again, I don't know why every single series we've had this year has to conflict with baseball and softball.
Yeah.
Yes.
Try to get to both, but again, and I would say this if baseball was about to clinch for a Big 12, softball could clinch a Big 12 championship. So, softball games, even if they're at the same time, they'll end before the baseball game. So watch the Gals win a championship, then you can run over and finish the baseball game. But hopefully some of the times are scattered around so you can get to both. That is baseball. Men's tennis finished up their regular season, probably their season, I would assume. It's been a tough year, but they lost in the Big 12 tournament to number 11 Arizona. Just a really good team. Didn't have much of a chance to, but they scrapped their way to it. Finished the season 12-12. We're going to bounce back next year. They're going to get it done. That's me putting in the call a year early. This time next year, we're going to be talking about men's tennis headed to the NCAA tournament. Women's golf finished at the Big 12 championships. As a team, they finished 12th out of 14, but Clara Hertova got her second straight top 20 finish at the Big 12 championships. She finished 19th, so shout out her. I believe she probably at least will move on to the individual NCAA soon. I'm not sure if as a team we're qualified or not, but she should at least move on to the individual NCAA tournaments, championships coming up soon. And then on the men's golf side, they start the Big 12 tourney tomorrow. Goes Tuesday through Thursday in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm sure it won't be windy or stormy at all in Tulsa, Oklahoma in the end of April. We're in the middle of tornado, started up the tornado season. No big deal. But hopefully they have good enough weather and they get it done for men's golf.
Yeah, and then we're going to kind of give a little sneak peek into your fall sports, what's been going on. Football finished their spring game on Saturday. I've heard there was quite a few good things from there. I saw some darts thrown from Hammond. I heard Leighton Stone had some great receptions, right? He's a receiver. Yeah.
He is?
So cooking, yes. Heard great
really
things from the defense.
That I've been to in person. Leighton Stone's been a really good receiver. Footwork.
Awesome.
Which
also the son of Thompson. Yes.
You would think a soccer player would have his son having good footwork, so that tracks.
For sure. Yeah, so great things that came from football this past weekend, and obviously we'll get to see. There's also been speculation by On3 Sports, maybe Micah Hudson may be back for next season. Not
Micah,
sure.
I love you, buddy, but I'm over it. Just come or go.
Come or go. We don't know.
We support
all these speculations. So
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm exhausted too. We'll see what ends up being decided with that. As far as volleyball goes, Hannah Bohr, she did enter the transfer portal. We hinted at that last week. Thank you, Hannah, for everything you did. Great setter to come through this program for her for that past season. Obviously, some things probably just weren't working out. She's looking for something new. Probably going to hit up NIL, whatever it may be. But congrats to her. Great player, great person. And then volleyball released their schedule. Some key matchups I have. We're going to look way ahead because, let's just do it. Baylor, September 24th at home, and BYU, October 18th. Finally, BYU is going to come here, and we tend to play BYU close over there in Utah, but maybe we can finally get over the hump and win this season. I mean, good Lord. I mean, it seems like we were always playing at BYU. I know. Finally, they get to travel. And then soccer released their schedule. Super hype about that. It looks like it's kind of, we don't know what's up in the air, but it looks like we are on August 14th playing Wake Forest, who are the national finalists, runner-ups this year. Great. I guess this is it net or RPI in soccer? RPI. Great RPI booster. If we can win that game, it's going to be a tough matchup. If we get to play it, hopefully we do.
Similar to that Penn State one we did last year to start the year, but hopefully we'll have a healthier roster is the goal.
Yes, hopefully we do.
You have all your dogs in that. I like our chances to staying around that. I just don't know who's going to be ready to play and who's not, but still cool to play that. Test yourself against ACC early in the year. I hope it's happening. The reason we say we think, so just so you're clear, Texas Tech put it out. It was on the schedule. Later in the day, they deleted that and then posted again. It was TBD. Today, Wake Forest posted their schedule, and we were on their schedule.
So
we're hoping that it's happening. So I don't know what's going on there, but we're hoping it's real because they need it.
Got a few months to figure it out.
Because before he finishes who else they are playing, one person we're not playing in the regular season is BYU, which I know a lot of fans are like, oh, we avoided BYU. That's great. No. Texas Tech Soccer is a program that we expect them to be good every year and competing, and so we want them to play the best because that's an RPI chance. But it's a good thing that we're playing, hopefully, Wake Forest to help balance that out because BYU is usually a really good team. And for some reason, they don't have to play us or TCU. Isn't that bonkers?
What the heck?
Yeah, so they should be running rampant through the Big 12 because they don't get to have to play the two other best teams. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, continue because we do play TCU. Let them know when.
Yes. So, guys, I'm bringing this up now because I know that y'all need to be planners. Y'all need to already take the weekend off from work. You need to plan
Don't
it
be
because
planning a
you'll have no
wedding that
excuse.
weekend. Don't be going
Yes.
camping.
Nothing should be this weekend. But the weekend of October 10th, that's a Friday night light soccer game. We are taking on TCU. It's going to be so high. TCU is projected to maybe make a College
really
World
good.
Series run.
They could be a top
World
5
Series,
team by
World
then.
Cup, bro.
They could be a top 5 team by then.
They could. And it's going to be a huge game, and we have to break the attendance record for that one. And if you're like, well, I don't want to go all the way up to Lubbock for just soccer. Well, first of all, it's disrespectful to your soccer team. But second of all, it's
Don't
okay.
insult yourself
It's homecoming.
that way, actually.
Yes.
Have some
And then
pride.
it's okay though because we got football homecoming on the 11th that next day. So you're already going to be up here for homecoming. Spend your Friday night at John Walker. So just get it planned already. I'm telling you now. If you're like we didn't know, well, I'm sorry. I told you in April.
I'm gonna clip this and be like, Tyler told you in April, and now we're telling you again. Get your butts to John Walker on October 10th for the game against TCU, which should be a massive matchup in the Big 12.
Massive, huge.
Let's go ahead and break the attendance record every year we play TCU.
Let's do it.
I can't wait. I love soccer so much. I love the player. They're so easy to root for and so easy to cover because they're good eggs, as we say a lot. So ready for soccer, ready for volleyball. Hopefully have a better season. We'll see how that goes. In football, I mean, they dang sure better have a good year. That's all I'm saying. They've been putting in the work as far as roster construction goes. We'll find out if it works. Hopefully they can get healthy and get ready to go by fall. So that is your Texas Tech sports recap. It could all change tomorrow because that's the news. But hopefully when you're watching it right now, it's as up to date as possible. We'll keep sharing any news you have on transfers. I do think the Lady Raiders will have at least one more ad, maybe two. I don't know. We'll see if they fill the whole roster or not. Men's basketball has got to be getting close to their roster being full now. They might have room for one more if they choose to use it. But we'll keep following that along and all the other sports going on. Let's win a Big 12 championship this weekend, Tyler. It's ring season. Tennis got us a couple of rings.
Ring season.
Let's get another ring for softball. And yeah, that's what I got. Until next time, y'all.
Rack 'em.